I wanted to find out because in African culture, we always had servitude. So, what's the difference between slavery and servitude? Because it would be naive to assume that Africans were all on one, because we did have the poor and the rich, but it's, yeah.
So even to this day, there's an element of servitude on the African continent, but it works more like this. It's two ways. Back then, if you were a group and there was a war and you lost the war, then you would have to do the hard labor stuff. But you could still marry it didn't stop your personal rights, but your lot in life. Someone has to do labor, that's what you had to do. In the world today, it's more like you have people who, they're nannies, and they come to the house, they clean the house, they help raise the children. They're treated like family. They're still family, and they're not demeaned because they do these things. We appreciate what they do. And maybe that's what they choose to do. And if they do it very well, maybe they turn it into a business sometime. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they just stay part of the family. So it's a form of servitude, but it's different than slavery because, quite frankly, part of African culture is servitude. Even as we have the male-female thing, some of the sisters are going to get upset when I say this, but it's almost part of the female personality in African culture. She has a sense of service to her men. They don't take.
And men have a service to us too.
Well, I was about to say that.
Back and forth, yeah.
I was about to say that, but I'm saying, even what you just did, not saying it, but I'm saying this. To be perfectly honest, it's okay if I say it with the balance, but it's like, but wait a minute. You are correct. I was going to say that, but this is what has happened with us. And it's what the European has done. I do this all the time, and I test the sisters, and they always fail it, but then by the end, we all on the same team. I always say, sisters, you all have a gift. It's the greatest gift that you have. So y'all are the best helpers. And I watch them. They all look and get mad on them. What you mean help? We can't be in lead and everything like that. So I said, okay. I said, now let me ask y'all a question, because I see how you feel. I see how y'all took that, sisters. So let me ask you a question. You get really, really sick, and you can't figure out to help what to do for yourself. What do you seek out? So I'm asking you, what do you seek? If you get really, really sick and you don't know if you're going to make it, what do you look for?
I know what you want me to say.
Well, no, I'm asking. It's just a question.
You want me to say another woman?
No, that's not what I want you to say. I want you to give an honest answer. No, I want an honest answer. No, you're really, really sick. What are you looking for?
I call the doctor.
Right. To do what?
To help.
To do what?
Yes.
Oh, the doctor to help. Okay,
yes.
If you get a case, okay, you get a case, you out there.
You call the lawyer to help.
To do what? No, would you want the lawyer to do what?
To help.
So watch, this is what the European has done. See, we live in a European conceived world. Europeans don't value the feminine principle in women. So, nothing has value unless you give it a masculine personality. So, when I say help, the women get upset. But if I make it masculine and say a doctor, oh yeah, a doctor is a great gift. All a doctor does is help you with your health. The doctor doesn't do anything. He has no purpose other than to help you with your health. What else does he do? I have to diagnose you. He just helps. It's actually a feminine role, what he's doing. He's bringing you back to health. He's nursing you. But when you give it a masculine thing, it has benefit. See, this is the difference between us and European. Look, I'm a black man. My grandmother, I didn't tell her I was coming. But she just knew when I was coming. I don't know how she knew. She would make fish and cornbread. And let me tell you, my grandma was the best cook. She was the best. My mother, somewhere, if she sees it, she's going to laugh because everybody in the Emporia, Virginia knew my grandmother was the greatest cook. There's nothing you could tell me about nothing to tell me what the value of that was, what my grandmother did for me. I don't care what your opinion is. I'm a black man. I don't even know what that is. It's just food, it's love, it's not, but we value that. It doesn't matter what you say. I'm not a European. What our women do for us when that son and he's down and that woman comes and says something, now he's back. I don't know what she did. Whatever it is, it's just as important to me as daddy teaching me how to take the wrench and do this and learn. We love women. Like, we're Africans. We value them both the same. So it doesn't have to be in a masculine role. It doesn't matter if it's leadership. Yeah, leadership is more a man's thing because it's just a quality that it's just a masculine thing. But nurturing in life is more a woman's thing. But there are men who are great nurturers, like great doctors.
Why do you say
leadership
is a male thing?
Because if we're talking about, like our ancestors in Kemet used to do, there are masculine principles and feminine principles. Both do them, Leadership, because of the nature of masculinity, if you look in the Lion Kingdom, he's the one that has to protect everything and everything. It's leadership. He says, I don't care if you're 2 miles away, you're in my territory, get out. Because my women and children here, and they're going to eat everything like that. That's just a part of
Why is protection associated with leadership and nurturing not associated with leadership?
Nurturing is, but here's the thing. And that's what I'm talking about, the European conceived world. The reason that you ask that is because in the European world, the only one that has value is leadership. What I'm saying as the African, nurturing is nurturing. Leadership is leadership. There's not one that's bigger than the other. So you don't have a problem with the fact that nurturing is feminine, even if you're a man, because it has value. Like in the European world, leadership, because it's masculine and they have men associated with it. In other words, the European associates men with it. Because that, it has value. So we as black folks think when we hear it, oh, that's the thing that has value. No. Again, my grandmother, I don't know that she was the leader of the family. I know this, she was the nurturer. And if she asked anybody for something, we would all come there. But her brother, who I never got to meet, who was my grandfather, really, she was really my great aunt, but he was really like the person everybody followed in the family. But that didn't change who she was. Like, everybody loved my grandmother. She was the matriarch. Like, everybody came around her. And she would just ask the men to do whatever they would. And the men would do whatever she asked them to do. But she didn't necessarily tell us where to go. I don't care about that. I care she made the best meals. She loved me. I wanted to be around my grandmother. And I don't need other value than that. Like, this is going to sound crazy. But for me, if I go somewhere and they're beautiful black women with their natural hair and dressed beautiful like this, that environment is wonderful. I don't care about how nice were the walls. Look, man, there were some beautiful sisters in there. They had good. To me, that's the value. Like, I don't want to.
What are you trying to say about our walls? Yeah.
Oh, I was looking at the dress. I didn't even see the wall. I'm like, you give me some beautiful black women. Now, somebody might say, well, that's not on the checkboard of white. That's not what makes the environment. That's what makes the environment for me. I want my brothers there and sisters who we can sit down and talk with and have a good time. That's what made the environment. It's not how big was it and did it have a jacuzzi and all that stuff is nice. But I'm talking about from the African. I'm an African. What makes me feel good is to be around beautiful, gorgeous black women and my brothers, and we can all talk and have a good time. Mm. I remember when we were growing up, we were like that. Like, I went to boarding school. And when I went to that boarding school, one thing I learned, because it was mostly white, it was only a few of us black. Even in high school, they used to go get drunk and do all this stuff. Back then, we weren't into that. It was in the 80s, and we into that now, but we weren't drinking and none of that stuff. But we would be sitting around, hollering and screaming. We were so loud that sometimes they would have to be like, y'all gotta be. And the whites used to always come around like, what are y'all laughing about? What is so? And we were sitting around talking about like, if they're not drunk or high, they don't know how to get along. Like, they don't know how to have fun. We just sit down and talk and just have a ball just because we love being around each other. So you would say, but they had all the money. Yeah, they had the money, but they didn't have what we had. So I don't have the value. Yeah, the money is important. But at the end of the day, honestly, it wasn't what made us happy. Our interaction with one another is what made us happy. I'm saying that to say, and I'm going to go back to it because it's important. It doesn't matter because leadership, generally speaking, we look at the great leaders of our past. Most of them have been men. But the truth of it is, when the men weren't fulfilling it, we're the only race that have had women that come in that have done not as good as men, but in cases like Queen Nzinga, she is arguably the best fighter.
Of female leaders.
We've had a lot, but I'm saying, literally, they've done things that men would say, "This is our job. Let us do it." But there weren't men tasked enough to do it, so she wasn't doing what the women were charged to do. But since the men couldn't get it done, our women have stepped up into a male role and exceeded what the men have done in cases. And unlike other people, you don't hear black men not liking Queen Nzinga. You don't hear black men not talking about Queen Nanny. You don't hear us down in Harriet Tubman. Listen, you won't ever hear me say anything positive about Nelson Mandela. But you might hear me say something positive about Winnie Mandela. If you sing a song from Winnie Mandela, I say she had a freedom fighter spirit. At least her spirit was in the right place, man. I used to love seeing, I remember she came on Donahue. And Nelson was talking some old stuff. I don't know what it was. But I remember her said, well, I'm going to support my husband. But if his way doesn't work, I got my spear. And all the people screaming. I said, I like that sister right there. She's a warrior. I don't care if she's male or female. If she's going to fight, she's going to fight. We don't look, we want to do it because we're men. We want to protect y'all. But at the end of the day, I ain't never met a brother that stopped the women from fighting. If we in a fight and we got to win and the sisters jump in to help, I'm going to stop you. That ain't the black man way. We've never been like that. What other race? Look, I went to Kemet the first time with Baba Kwesi, Ashraf, Mary Rakwesi on the Kemet Knew Know Thyself tour. I couldn't believe this, man. I knew that they said Kemet, ancient Egypt was black. All right. But you see Arabs all the time, so you're like, how black was it? Let me tell you something. When I walked into the Cairo Museum, when you walked in, this was 2000, and you walk down the hall, it's this huge, they got to be 30 feet tall. I don't know, 40, maybe 50 feet tall. It's Amenhotep III sitting next to Queen T. Now, they're like 50 feet, I mean, like, they're so colossal, I'm like, how could you even carve a piece of stone like that? But what I liked, she was sitting next to him with her hand on his knee. I said, that's like my granddaddy and my grandma. You can't get blacker than this. And then she had braids. I'm like, wait a minute, you telling me this is 1,000 years old? And I'm looking at ancient Egypt, and this is a black woman with braids. And even though she had the round nose, every feature was black. But if you wanted to be sure, she's sitting down and her hips still flooding you like the Nile. I'm like, it's only a black woman. That is a black woman. I'm like, our ancestors showed us. We got balance. He was the king, but you could see with the smile on his face, whatever she wanted was going to get done. She running that place right there. And he ain't want to be nowhere without her. When you go to Abu Simbel, it gets even crazier. Now you got Ursa Ma'at Ra Setep Ra Ramesu Mary Amen. They call them Ramses. Now Ramesu was like the next level. He was like, look, he had 50 wives, but his most favorite wife was Queen Nefertari. She was from the south. He loved her so much. He has a mountain built in of his temple. And right next to his temple is a mountain for her. So her mountain is the same size as his mountain, because he's like, this is my wife now. And when I'm gone 2,000 years, 3,000, she's going to be right next to me. And just so you know that that's his wife, he's standing in front of her temple like this in his military position. Look, watch what you do. Remember, this is my wife right here. Right now, these temples are there. That's the balance of black man and woman. Now, on the walls, they show him doing all the fighting. But he don't value if she went, that ain't what he wanted her for. He fighting so that she don't have to. Now, when we needed him to do it, Queen Ahotep, what did she do? She went to battle. We remember her. She got the valor, you know, she got the Golden Flower Award. Queen Hatshepsut, she ruled. If you go to Kemet, she not even supposed to, this is even violation of our own code. The men's supposed to be the men, the women supposed to be the women. But she was just so dope that the brother said, forget it. When she passed in the Valley of the Kings, she has Zedru. I mean, magnificent. If you ever go and get a chance to see it, you'll be like, she's a queen. She's supposed to be in the Valley of the Queens. They're like, nope. She was just so dope. Here with all the men. And hers ain't even connected to the rest of them. Hers all by itself. Gorgeous, magnificent architecture. And you go, we've always loved our women. And when they do outstanding things, we ain't got no problem screaming it from the top of the... Black fathers are notorious for having a daughter and telling her, nobody can tell you what you can't do. And breaking every rule. If it's something she wants to go into architecture, but it's only for men, you can't tell my daughter what she can do. That's what black fathers do. We love our daughters, and we want them to do whatever, and we believe in them, and we push them to do it. And then we're proud when they do it. There's a balance between African men and women.
There is.
Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social media platforms. On Instagram, we're at dc.radical1. On Twitter, we're at dc_radical_ONE. And the Cashapp is $DCRadical1. Again, thank you for subscribing. A BB for ODA and straight black pride.